Oh, you're on. This is really wearing out. The stickability is leaving. Oh, we don't have sound.
No, that's for microphone, right?
Yeah.
Let me see that. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Microphone's off the speaker. No. Make sure this is up. Okay. Tim, we're not able to hear you guys.
Hi.
Now we can.
As Amy Joy said, we are Art in the Basin. We've been here over 6 years now. Our anniversary was in April. And I don't know, we just keep chugging along, I guess. We have a great featured reader that'll come up in a moment or two. I'm sorry we're running a little late, so maybe we'll just get right to it. Often at these readings, I pick out a poem kind of at random from Poem Hunter. I don't know if you're familiar with the website and the app. So thousands of poems that you can read and whatever for free by many well-known poets and not so well-known poets. But tonight, just shut the door. Tonight, sorry, we're getting the environment correct here. Tonight, the first poem that came up when I entered June in the search was called A Memory of June, and it's by Claude McKay. When June comes dancing o'er the death of May, with scarlet roses tinting her green breast, and mating thrushes ushering in her day, and earth on tiptoe for her golden guest, I always see the evening when we met, the 1st of June, baptized in tender rain, and walked home through the wide streets, gleaming wet, arms locked, our warm flesh pulsing with love's pain. I always see the cheerful little room, and in the corner, fresh and white, the bed, sweet-scented with a delicate perfume, wherein for one night only we were wed. Where in the starlit stillness we lay mute, and heard the whispering showers all night long, and your brown burning body was a lute, whereon my passion played this fevered song. When June comes dancing o'er the death of May, with scarlet roses staining her fair feet, my soul takes leave of me to sing all day a love so fugitive and so complete. Claude McKay, everyone. No doubt he delivered it better than I do, but I think I did a tolerable job. Looking now, so I want to introduce our featured reader, our guest reader tonight, Orlando Ferrand. I have his bio here. My grandfather's name was Orlando. Yes, it was. Orlando Coriel. And he has a son, Orlando Coriel Jr., but he goes by the name Ted. So there are two Orlandos in my family, in fact. I'm a direct descendant of two Orlandos. But we'll talk about Orlando, who, reading here tonight's poet, writer, translator, multidisciplinary artist, and farmer. He facilitates creative writing and arts workshops for the New York Writers Workshop and the Bronx Council on the Arts. I took a workshop with you several years ago, actually, and it was a terrific experience. A graduate of Columbia University and City College, is the author of the award-winning poetry collections Star Witness, City Walker, La Otra Isla, the forthcoming book of poetry Anatomy of Birthdays, and the memoir Apologia, Cuban Childhood in My Backpack. Ferrand is a contributing writer and artist to several online and print publications and art director of Create Tank Press. His featured TED Talk and recital, Underneath the Accent of My Skin, establishes poetry and visual arts as his innermost identity ritual. Ferrand has been featured at the Whitney Museum of American Art, the Bronx Museum of the Arts, the Miller Theater, Sunday Salon, the Miss Manhattan Reading Series, Crank Magazine / Dixon Plays, KRVC, La Pluma, y La Tinta, and the New York City Poetry Festival, among other landmark venues and reading series. Everyone, please welcome Orlando.
Wow, I got enough material here. There we go. Perfect. I never seen one of these. Hi, everybody. Good evening. Thank you. I was telling Amy that this place reminds me of the East Village in the 90s, right? Remember those little coffee shops where we used to do the poetry readings and get drunk and you know, life was very interesting in the 90s. I did a great deal of writing throughout the 90s. I came to this country in 1990. And to New York in particular, so I think I have claimed my New York as my home in so many ways. And when I say New York, I'm also talking about the Bronx, most definitely the Bronx. I mean, if I started in Manhattan, my work really crystallized here in the communities of the Bronx. It allowed me also to go a little beyond the creative, to become an educator as well and teach creative writing and change people's lives, you know, along the process in the same way writing, I think, have changed me for the better. So, say it again. Oh, I'm Cuban. I was born in Cuba. I'm not a Cuban from Florida, by the way. Have nothing to do with those people. I don't know who they are. Trust me when I tell you. I'm ashamed of my own people at times. You're from Hialeah? Oh, no, I'm not from Hialeah. I hope you're not either. Okay, good. So, I do have put together a little bit of a selection here, and this is also kind of, I'm also nervous.
Sorry, you're in the basement.
Yes.
The open mic that always kind of works without a mic.
Without a mic.
Yeah, so just make sure you deliver, and we apologize for the train noise.
Oh, no. I mean, it's New York after all, right? I mean, you know, most of my work I actually wrote in bars during the 90s. And then, you know, needless to say, the trains. I mean, oh boy, I mean, riding that train anywhere I worked, and I always have my notebook with me. At the time, I used to write on a notebook. I mean, now it's the phone, it's, the tablet, but I still try to keep that relationship between the hand and the pen and the paper. Something happens there, like Gertrude Stein said, writing is something that happens between the hand and the paper. So it's sort of a kind of mantra for me. It helps me ground myself, especially when my head is somewhere else. Writing, that is. This is a sonnet I wrote for my sister Marisol. Let's see if I can do a sonnet now. I will not run away from you ever. Again, I come to you as I promised. Princess Marisol, your heart is clever. My curse was sharp like glass against my chest. Stop Azrael from entering our home. You brought the faith, the hope I had long lost in geographies that made me waste my love. Thunder and fear trapped me in the frost. But now I learn how to draw the landscapes to awaken your memories of me. And these holes on the earth globe are my eyes. They look at everything I knew and see my son, my song, my life, my sea, my soul, my precious little gems, my Marisol. Exile. Time is my tasteless abstract friend, refusing to be measured by the ticking of the clock. Time is all I have when I shut down my windows to the world. I am absent from familiar voices. My body will return someday to interstellar dust. Transient and secular, I will carry the seed of a new life into heaven. Oh, my lighthouse, precision envelops my crystal sword again. The prophet's mystery finally revealed. A man is also a cave made out of shadows and winged castaways. Thank you. By the way, these are some new poems and also a little bit of potpourri, a little bit of a selection from previous works in anthologies and some of my own books. Science of the Beloved. I was promised riches only matching Solomon's and tropical pathways leading to eternal beauty and youth. They had promised me marriages never seen before, treasure which never hugged my hands until you arrived, baptized in the river by John, with your blue smile and your eyes of pure honey, navigating my entrails. I want to be his sea and his horizon, the rope that rescues his shipwreck, and the word love shattering my veins. I want to be his friend, sowing some flowers, adorning all the corners. When you return to my hunter's arm, to my feet, skilled in the art of mapping uncertain territories. Let's take a walk. When the evening light the sky with rosy, orange, purple swirls, listen to my voice when I whisper magic words, enticing the charm of life. Come, let's dive now into the mystery when the sea sustains us like gods fallen asleep, soon awakening and recovering their memory. Thank you. A lot of this work, I don't notice a lot of these things until I start actually doing readings. So there is something to be said about readings, right? But definitely, I always say that, writers write about their obsessions. And if you're a writer and you don't have any obsessions, you need to find some. Because that's really what triggers, I think, that search for that kind of eternal truth that as poets we feel we want to find, right? I'm also a sculptor, so a lot of my work has to do with that physicality as work. So this is called clay whisper. And what I do here in this poem is I become the clay and let the sculptor tame me. So in other words, it's sort of like a metaphor for my relationship also with writing. It's like at some point you kind of abandon yourself and dive into the process and let the process guide you, especially in poetry. Clay whisper. He knits me into an oval first, banged against walls and floors until the wooden table collapses under my solid mass of life. Like your mother who never recovered from the beatings, I am stretched beyond immeasurable distances, impossible things to be, all the dragons and witches and otters and bad uncles, transient superheroes, while listening to the instructions of the hysterical school teacher. Touched by no one for more than 20 years, she hated toddlers and varicose veins and the warm belly of young pregnant women, pastry moist with your sweat, sweet like grandma's brown sugar and lollipops, an icy sprinkle with Benadryl just for color in the absence of cherry extract. You are dozing over me. You are turning me into a womb inside out, hiding fragments of the pain nobody sees but me. No, you are not an ugly child, troll. Your father got the gene and will eventually die of alcoholism. Don't worry. Keep making more little everything out of me. Stars and moons, entire galaxies if you wish to escape. I don't like my off-white color. Color me wild like the nights you steal from the trannies that give you more love than anybody in this world. Your eyes travel faster than the wind over the smooth texture of this wholeness that I am, resuscitating again in the fire, galloping beneath your fingers. Your smile finds my beaches of wild reefs. I'm stalking you, daydreamer, illuminated on these lazy Susans spinning a wheel, stretched into infinite perfection, giving birth to the sum of all tangible things and impalpable under your tears and emotional and occasional smiles. At last, cocoon in your sculptor's hands. This poem is called The Warrior. It has a lot of references to Japanese imagery, to the concept of the samurai as well. And I think it's part of my fascination with also the Japanese culture, the illustrations, and definitely the surreal stories in the Japanese literary tradition. This is called The Warrior. I claim ascension for the bird and for the man. When madness rings my door.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, please, by all means. Thank you.
Can you start from the top?
Yes. This is called The Warrior. I claim ascension for the bird and for the man. When madness rings my doorbell, I won't answer. I am not here. I ran away with the samurai. At 6, and for a very long time, the Japanese were my favorite action flicks. I love to watch the black and white wind splashed with blood, heads bouncing off bamboo trees, the blade making with finesse a vertical trajectory from head to toe in my enemy's body. Kidnapped Japanese princesses on the back of white horses by those men who spoke fast and hard, and you couldn't really tell if they were loving or hating, just like that. I love the sound effects cascading in infinite waves of ocean breeze, and the smell of sushi in his breath, my childhood friend, the samurai. Akira taught me how to make the sword dance in my hands. He also showed me how warriors could turn into lovers at the onset of light. He covered the mirrors at nightfall to protect me against the phantom lady from another world who waited patiently until I fell asleep to take me away and suck me dry like a ripened mango. We flew on the back of dragons on those days when the house of my ancestors was plundered by Cuban monarchs in uniform, screaming and holding the Russian flag, spitting out centuries of unsustainable hunger and bloodbath. When that's Communist Party boss held my head against his chest and gently forced me down on my knees, I'm gonna make a man out of you, boy. Take it all the way to the back of your throat and swallow, he said, asking me to kiss it first. After all Japanese action flicks ended in mayhem and I had just turned 13, my spirit, true to his promise, he came back for me, transfigured into the wisdom and good fortune dragon, melting the iron bars with tongues of fire. Fukuryu touched me with his 3 claws and held me against his slender serpent-like, wind colorful body. And we became one, wrapped in golden, green, and blue, red and yellow skin ascending in the skies. We left behind treasure troves, the sword, and our legend forever to be told. Thank you. This is some work that was published in this anthology of New Voices 2016. It's available on Amazon. It's a wonderful anthology put out by a wonderful young writer and publisher by the name of Raquel Penso, and she is the director of La Pluma y la Tinta. It's a multi-ethnic enterprise that basically tries to give a voice to underrepresented poets all across New York City. So I'm in good company here in this anthology, and was very proud when my work was published here. I'm gonna read to you Okay, I was talking to Amy today, about the 90s, and she's too young to know how it was, especially in Manhattan, in New York City in general during the AIDS epidemic. That was quite terrifying at the time. We had inherited the Reaganomics, and it was political chaos, similar political chaos to the one we have right now. It's just that at least I think at the time we knew what we were dealing with, and things were not perhaps as extreme as they are up on our faces right now, right? So anyway, this poem, Spiritus, came out of that kind of struggle of living as an artist in New York City, and one day you realize that all your friends are dying because of AIDS and nobody is doing really anything about it. It wasn't until much later in the 90s that there was scientific willingness and political will to do something about what was afflicting New Yorkers at the time. Spiritus. I am drugging the familiarity of sorting out the world like a contented God. I envy the children in front of their first Christmas tree, urgently breathing in only the magic that descends upon the ginger houses like a parachute of wishing stars. The flesh is gone. I've been nailed to the air as scarecrows in summertime. I push the waters and dance with the branches of long-lasting trees. I am able to look at mankind without fear of catastrophes. But I miss you. I am washing over you now. I am the one that suits you in the form of pleasant dreams. I am the one that accidentally makes you spill sleeping pills and painkillers in the toilet. I am the one that took your heart in my hand and massaged it until you saw me in the white emptiness we call death. No, you are not dreaming the toll of distant bells. I commanded you to go back and whisper in your ear a new manual of instructions on how to live without me. Be gentle. Do not crave the company of others only in accordance to your own needs. Flow like waters without ceasing. Empty your thoughts and grow old without greed. Let there be light. Look up and bask in the miracle called life. Let there be light. The sky has grown another dying star. Thank you. I don't know if you remember, but there was a time when students at NYU were committing suicide by the numbers. This was also, it was in the late 90s. It went on for quite a bit until the early 2000s, okay? This is called Springboard for the NYU suicides. If you do some research, you're gonna find some obscure articles about this that were published by non-mainstream media at the time. Where is the diver's valor? Which water pocket conceals his burden? I left behind the ivory tower in every jump off the cantilever, breaking diving records, my passport to college, until New York, that rapist insomniac snatched me from self. They insistingly rang my doorbell in the dorm on 9th Street. On that morning, they had locked me. On that morning, they had looked at me, looking at them, all ears to the homeless revelations in Washington Square Park, while running from the ghosts of my classmates' bodies. cracked and smashed like watermelon, squeaking the asphalt, still lingering. Refusing to depart, they said, suicide is contagious. I am a prime suspect. They asked me why I didn't jump like the others, yet if I was thinking about it, yet voices, your voices, piercing my dick like a Prince Albert jammed in a crowded mouth, and I tell them, I will slaughter. No regret the pack of wild dogs dressed in blue like you that dares to bark at my steps into the unknown, disturbing my communion with the phantom of Bob's library. Do you feel the draft? Can you see the place is haunted? PTSD diagnosis, and I am good to go on another mission. I collected signs of the missing in hopes that I would find them. In my dreams, I follow their whereabouts facing I follow the weathercocks facing the ever-changing anatomy of Manhattan. Got stranded over and over again. I brought them back to life from their escapades. We're waiting for you, and I keep holding my legs tied to the ground to no avail, begging other apparitions to share my loaf of bread in their presence. Why is my mother tossing the Bible into the fireplace? Why is her cries bleeding from the cross in her flesh linen? Why is her lunatic God flooding her house with mirth and thorns? I am diving into the region where sailboats will never find me. I am diving. My other island will finally emerge. Thank you. How much? One more? Okay. I'm gonna do one more. Just one second. Let me see what I wanna. Okay. I want to close with this poem. It's called The Fool on Bronx Park East. Of rosewood, the handle of his umbrella, I see him every day from dusk to dawn, failing his skeleton umbrella under the sun and the moon and the Milky Way. Over the cars on the highway, almost naked, the bum, the man who never sleeps unless it's raining. He lives at the mercy of the sheltering frame. He has already surrendered to the honking of the cars. They stop to let him walk in his ragged underwear, giving them weather advice, drunk driving advice, parental advice, and marriage counseling advice. The bum, the man who never sleeps unless it's raining. His umbrella is the remainder of a parachute perhaps left by an angel in his ascension to the skies. And the fool on Bronx Park Keys aids the drivers bumper to bumper, opening and closing his skeleton umbrella up and down the highways. The bum, the man who never sleeps unless it's raining. The umbrella and the umbrella man have both lost their skin down to the bones. I am convinced he's an angel who's lost his wings and got stuck in New York without a map of the heavenly skies. The bum, the man who never sleeps unless it's raining. The skeleton has resisted the corrosive action of the elements The man is attached to his umbrella like an umbilical cord limbically connected to his bygone memory, the bomb, the man who never sleeps unless it's raining. Is there, I ask myself, a need for skin when you wear your soul inside out, protected by the celestial skeleton of an umbrella, the bomb, the man who never sleeps unless it's raining? The fool on Bronx Park East run over by the siren of a chasing highway patrol car lets me handle and inspect his umbrella while they dial 911 to save his skeleton, the bomb, the man who never sleeps unless it's raining. Make sure he's all right, buddy, he whispers. The highway is uncomfortably silent for a minute, 1,000 headlights flashing in the middle of the night, and then it rains just for him, the bomb, the man who never sleeps unless it's raining. The fool is gone, and I examine his umbrella to make sure it's not being hurt. At his request, I examine the skeleton umbrella, the angel's parachute that let him land so low, so far from God, so close to the irony of life. And I am left alone with the known cap, the collar, the tip cup, the handspring, the tube, the runner, the inside rosette, the stopper pin, the stretcher, the tip, the rib, the tie, the prevent, the inside cup, the notch, the outside rosette, the open cap, the furred up, the ferrule, the rosewood handle, the umbrella, parachute to help me land, has grown its skin again. It's not a fragile frame. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Well, anyway, one more time, please. Can we hear it for our our guest reader tonight, Orlando Ferrand? Wonderful what we've been doing here at Monomore Coffee and Wine in recent years. Happily, we've gotten some very talented people to grace us with their words or their music or what have you. We do this every other Tuesday, as I think everyone knows or ought to know, with the exception of the coming weeks. No, actually, we're more active than usual. Next week, not in 2 weeks, but next week, June 6th, I believe, D-Day, for those of you who keep score of history. My ex-wife's birthday, actually.
Same thing as D-Day.
Oh, man, now I just lost my train of thought after that. Oh, anyway, yes, we'll be back in 1 week with Catherine Arnoldi, longtime poet and artist and denizen, I believe, of Manhattan or Lower Manhattan or what have you. And the week after that, it is, remind me again? Oh, I should know these things. We'll let you know. Well, like I said, we'll get back to you. Has everybody signed up for the open mic who'd like to take part? I don't know, Betty, are you going to do the open mic, or we'd ask Adam? Really? Yeah. Good. Okay. Everyone, Betty. Betty was a featured reader with Art in the Basin last year. Always great to see her.
Hi, everybody. Oh, can I stand over here? Where should I? Oh, there. Hello, everybody. Orlando inspired me to do one poem that delivered to the audience. Okay. Let me find the poem first. How's everybody doing in the meantime? Woo-hoo. It's very short, so should I do a long one or a short one? Okay. Okay, this is a very short poem. It's called Her Beloved, and it was written for my daughter who lost her boyfriend COVID. So it's called We Were Doing Something, and anyway, Her Beloved. When she talks about him, her voice lowers. She avoids saying his name, fighting back tears as if it was the day she first heard the news that beloved was gone. She steals her emotions, and with a cracking ache still lodged in her throat, she says, "That was his shirt. Pierce me with 1,000 betrayals, raw wounds, but spare me the loss of my beloved too soon." And I'll just do a little bit of Midnight, which is a poem that I'm working on after reading Martin Luther King Jr.'s book, Strength to Love. The century of darkness, when all seems ever as midnight, as if morning sunshine will never come. Anxiety bounds at midnight, looms over present atomic artificial light of destruction. What purpose in the testing if we know the poison mushroom is lethal? Poisoning our shores, the air we breathe, choking the water of life, dry wells. Will we beg for a morsel to eat after the fallout? It is midnight. Where have your daughters gone at midnight? As if we could say, friend, have you no care for us, stuck in the dark? When many are looking for she and her, and they and them, and he, few say we. I'll end there. Thank you, Tim.
Thanks very much, Betty. Oh, I love that line, her voice lowers. Great line. I was gathering my notes, actually, about Orlando's reading earlier. Really enjoyed his take on obsessions, and yeah, I'd probably encourage you to have one or two, or well, maybe not more than two, I don't know. Don't want to get too wrapped up in those things, but and you know, there's some awesome reverb happening at the back of the cafe, and it's almost like we're in this like large stadium. You know, just declaiming. Like, I don't know, baseball, soccer. Anyway, oh, and Bronx River East. You know, I was on Bronx River East today, as it happens. I ride my bike a lot around the Bronx, as some of you know, I think. And yeah, part of my route today took me on Bronx River East. So I was on it from Burke Avenue to 233rd Street. I don't know what's that in relation to where you were talking about, or? Oh, when Bronx River East, what sort of stretch of it were you talking about? But what was the like cross street? I'm just curious because I was on it today. Oh, you're not hearing me? I'm sorry. Oh, no. So yeah, I was on Bronx River East today. I was just curious what corner you were talking about. Well, there's like it's a street, right, that you're talking about? Oh. I thought it was the last poem. Did I copy that down wrong?
Well, I mean, in a lot of my work, I generally talk about the Bronx River.
Right.
East
Okay.
River,
Okay.
right, and there is also the Hudson.
I gotcha. Okay. Well, yeah, I was there today. All over the East Bronx, actually.
When I'm over here, I don't even remember.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's like pretty idyllic, some of it, it's pretty nice. River's pretty scenic nowadays. Yeah, it's, wow. Nice. But I have to point in this direction as well as that. This direction. Anyhow, let's bring up our next open micer. Maybe our last here at the cafe, if nobody else wants to sign up. Adam.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. That's what happened, I told you, right? Like, I can remember when I'm there, something happened. Where they're like, don't remember anything. Yes, I was talking about, that's the mushroom parkway.
Yeah.
That's where, right? So it's the Bronx part. The mushroom parkway and Arlington Avenue. That's where
Right.
that man that I wrote the poem about was hit. So,
Yeah, I was in that vicinity today on my bike. You know why I was over that way? I mean, I go that way sort of often anyhow, but particularly today, I had to go to the Home Depot on Gun Hill Road. I don't know, man. I went up to the locker, I like ordered online and, they like put it in a locker and I scanned my code and it popped open and it was great. Didn't have to talk to anybody. In and out. But yeah, that was my mission today. I took the day off from work actually. Anyhow, Adam.
Thank you. Do I need this?
You probably
Do I need it?
You have to,
okay.
step on the X and deliver to them, and then
To them,
split your
to
time,
them.
whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
For those that don't know me, I do stories about the everyday, about the ordinary, and see the extraordinary in the ordinary. And sometimes it gets pretty weird. So today is one of those stories that is the weirdest of the weird. For those that haven't seen me before, and for those who have, and since the beginning of November, I've dropped anywhere from 15 to 20 pounds. They tell me I can't do it. You're a certain age. I had a gun to my head. It was called diabetes. And so I lost the weight out of it. I could sit here and talk about the boring part, which is the food, which is what you have to eat and what you can't eat. And really, it's not as interesting as walking through a neighborhood. Because when you take steps and walk through a neighborhood and are looking for things, even when you're not looking for things, you find wonderful things. What can I talk about in food? Is everybody talking about it all the time anyway? So I lost the weight because my doctor told me it's food, it's your diet, but it's also exercise. So for the last several years, I have been taking strolls through my neighborhood. And my late wife used to call where we live up the hill in Riverdale, the semi-burbs. It's not quite the city, and it's not quite the suburbs. So it's very, very tranquil at night. And there's lots of homes, lots of not a whole lot of people when you walk out at 11 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night. I've been doing that now for the last, well, pre-COVID. And my wife looks at me and says, be careful. Of course, I'm going to be careful because I'm not running into anybody. So that's not a problem. But the story that I want to talk about is, what do I see out there? Now, I could describe the people, most of the people you run into are walking their dog. Some are parking their cars. Some are scooter guys now delivering, meals and whatever. So that's really not the interesting stuff. Let's start looking into the interesting things. Believe it or not, and sadly enough, I've seen people in Riverdale on these quiet streets sleeping in their cars. Now, the question becomes, what are you doing looking into their cars? Right? I mean, why are you invading their privacy? Well, I think we all can plead guilty to, if we've taken the 1 train downtown, the train comes out after City College and gets up to 125th Street, that tallest station in all of New York. We're eye level with apartments. How many people can sit here and actually tell me they don't look inside those windows? We all do. We get a moment where we get to see somebody else's life, right? Well, why wouldn't I do that if I'm walking around Riverdale? Of course I'm going to do it. I'm not looking there filming. I'm not going to post it on Instagram, or whatever else places people are going to post it. It's really more of a sad comment that somebody's sleeping in their cars. So, as much as they were startled, the dog that was living or sleeping with them really was startled, and because the dog was startled, so was I. I've seen people sleeping like that, and yet that doesn't really hold a candle in weirdness. It's sad, that part is sadness. The candle that's held in weirdness is if I describe where I walk from Spite and Dival up through to the Henry Hudson Parkway. And I cross over the Henry Hudson Parkway to Seton Park to Independence Avenue. And there are tons of apartment buildings. There are schools. There are churches. There are synagogues. It's an inhabited neighborhood. I walk by the Spite and Dival Library. And all these people are parking their cars, if they have them, on the street for the most part. Because, when you moved there, you thought you could do it, and you're going to go down swinging. You're going to keep trying. So as I'm walking down Independence Avenue, I'm typically minding my own business, except looking in cars sometimes. I'm not looking at the people walking their dogs because they're going to have a little variety in their dress. Some are going to be in pajamas. If some were naked, I wouldn't notice it. It doesn't really matter. But there is a stretch of Independence Avenue where it gets pretty strange. You get to the north end of it, like up around 244th or 245th Street. Now, as you're walking north, there's a stand of bamboo. Yeah, like in China, bamboo, because bamboo grows wildly. And if you take that path, you go into a little area that's sort of like an estate area. I'm not talking about that. Then there's across the street, there's a couple of apartment buildings. There's also a little park that you can't see because it's not lit up. And that's where they hold I think a food market of some type. There's a sign up there. It's a weather-beaten sign, so I don't know how old it is. Then there's a synagogue and a huge, this is the suburban part, a huge parking lot. That's one of the Reformed, there's two Reformed synagogues, because if anyone knows anything about Jews, there's always the synagogue you go to, and then that one that they never go to. And this is the one that some of them go to. Okay. That's not even the weird part. The weird part is I'm walking down the street, not minding my own business, and looking at cars, okay? Now, if you see a car with the engine running, this happened in a winter. I think it was January or February. So it was chilly. I expect to see cars with their engines turned on. Yeah, people are going to sit and wait. They're going to listen to the last tune on the radio. They're talking on the phone. Something's going to happen. So I see this car, and it's kind of like an old. Excuse me, I didn't turn it off. Sorry. Somebody didn't want me to talk. Okay.
That was the incidental music for this.
Sorry?
Incidental music.
Oh, absolutely. I am a big fan of Steve McGarrett. Anyway, so, some cars, when you turn them on these days, the latest technology will not allow you to walk out of the car and leave the engine running. But not everybody has the latest technology. So this was sort of like maybe a car 5 or 10 years old, not uncommon, and the engine's running, and the lights are on. Now, I'm not going to get into the wheres and wherefores of I'm not a friend of the 5-0 precinct, but I'm not. And I don't know many people that will say that they are, but okay, we won't go there. I'm looking in this car. If it's running and it's cold, I would expect there to be somebody sleeping in the front seat, in the passenger seat, or across the back, or even on the floor. Worst case scenario, they'd have the trunk pop, little air. I mean, it's weird. You're going to get the engine fumes up there. It's not kind of safe, but we know we can't account for intelligence sometimes, or in desperation. It's probably desperate. But you expect to see something. I get brave. I look. I'm looking down. I'm looking at the trunk. Trunk's not popped. The car is running. There's nobody in it. Now, that's weird. What the F is going on? Pick up the phone, call my favorite buddies at 911. I'm not the fan of these guys, but who knows? Who knows if there's a body in the trunk? Who knows if there's an animal in the trunk? Who knows what's in there? Sir, do you mind giving us your name? If I call 911, I do call them. Citizen, you're a responsible citizen. You feel like, you got to do a good turn. So I call them and I give them my name, because listen, I'm going to tell them what I saw. I mean, in this case, I didn't see anything. So I didn't know what to tell them. They go, sir, what did you see? I said, that's the problem. Nothing. This is up for you guys to investigate. And I never found out what happened.
Thank you, Adam. Trying to hit the X here. Oh, that's not too bad. I hit the X. Yeah. We're up here before they have the X. They do that in TV also, or theater, and but also we do it at Art in the Basin. Trying to keep our spatial relations good and with good vibes. Anyhow, want to make sure everybody knows that tonight was an evening that was helped by a grant from Poets and Writers. So thanks to them, and some of their funders, like the state and the city arts councils and all that. So we are grateful for their support, which has been continuing for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years now. Really great. Allowing us to bring Orlando in tonight. Well, we have, looks like kind of a short list, right? It's just, yeah, okay. We'll refer it to our Zoom participants. We do it both here, right? We do the featured reader thing. We do, of course, the original AITB open mic. We want to invite John and Elizabeth, the Elegant Ivory Duo.
We are in the. Okay. Thank you, Orlando. Terrific reading. And welcome to everyone in restaurant land and also in hybrid land. We might have done this song a while ago here, I'm not sure, but we're going to do it anyway tonight. It's an interesting piece of music. It was written by Harry Lincoln, who lived at the same time as Scott Joplin. He wrote this in the very early 1900s. And if you are a fan of early film, you might have heard this piece somewhere. It's also all over YouTube. So think Keystone Cops. And I'm going to head on to the piano. And Elizabeth's going to sit down.
Hello. This is called, I believe this is called the Midnight Fire Alarm, although I was wondering if it might be at 11:59 and 30 seconds. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Elegant Ivory Duo, everyone. Man, let's hear it again. Elizabeth, as we've come to learn, is a virtuoso whistler. She really is. And who knew the kazoo as well? I mean, I think she's done kazoo for us before, but I think I have to hit a button there or something. Later. Okay.
Later for you.
All right, later for me, right now for you. Anyway, thank you, Elegant Ivory Duo. Past couple of years, really dating back to the COVID era and the Zoom era that began as a result. They've been with us for through thick and thin, really, and we hope to see them perform live one of these days. They have a cabaret act, and hopefully we can see that one of these days. Anyhow, thank you again, everyone, for coming out. I meant to say, Adam, I know where you're talking about, where Independence Avenue gets all like broken up and kind of downhill, or actually uphill. I don't know. It's yeah.
Down and up.
Yeah. It's and there's like all weird, like, arty houses, all each different than the other. Yeah. Anyhow, we have our schedule. Let me just sort of like repeat it for everyone, and then we'll turn things over to Amy Joy in a moment. As I said, in 1 week, June 6th, Catherine Arnoldi. And on the 20th, there we go. On the 20th, Soraya Shalfarouche. So look forward to those two poets. That's the 6th and the 20th. So we're sort of like off kilter from our usual every other Tuesday. And you want to know why? There's an actual logical reason. On the 13th, the New York Philharmonic is performing a couple of blocks from here in Van Cortlandt Park. That is tough competition. Tough competition. So
Competing. We want to be there.
that's what sort of has put our schedule askew and sort of like swept away with the wind or what have you. Anyway, thanks again to Monomore Coffee and Wine for hosting us tonight. As always, for the last 6 years.
Amazing staff.
Corner of Broadway and 238th Street in the Bronx, New York. And I guess with that, let's turn it over to the host with the most, or the co-host with the most, Amy Joy, who is the brains behind this whole operation.
That's right. I'm not wearing my glasses today, but Oh, Timothy, I think I have some time. So could you pick a poem from my very short poetry book that you can find at Amazon.com? It's called The Purest Kind. No, I want pick one.
Pick any. How about Despite Myself?
Again?
Not that one? I like that one.
I know.
Well, you're going to do that one later, I hope.
All right. Give me Despite Myself,
okay.
Because you picked it. All right. So, because remember, the item is love, and the price is love, and therefore love is free, right? Despite myself. When you flicker to the surface of my mind's eye, giddy, I say it. The stretched smile that dominates my face glows sheepishly. I say it. Surging, staining, crimson, wash me with hasty happiness. Eager, I say it. Wafting warmth swaddles my molecular existence safe. So I say it. Your eyes, cool glare, burning through my force field, weakened. I say it. Your lips, full, forthcoming, and fluffy, a memory kiss, overwhelmed. I say it. You, stalwart, stringent, yet your manners brightly focused on me, humbly. I say it. The syllables buckled by the weighty way the words detach from my soul, grateful. I say it. Love knows no bound, nor and mine profound. Absorbed. I say it. Thank you. All right. It's so cool to read a poem. Like, I don't usually read one, but we always end on the last three notes. If you haven't been here before, the words are let love lead, and we'll say it together. So let's close it off. Thank you, Monomore Coffee Wine. Thank you, Jeff and Yahira. Thank you for New York Presbyterian who provided the hand sanitizers. Make sure you get one on your way out, including a bag. And for Yuri Stern from Bronx, New York, CERT, Division 3, thank you for delivering them. Here we go. Ready, guys? Un, deux, trois, let love lead. Woo! Let love lead. But if you're here with us in 2023, you want to lead, let love. That's right. You are in control. You are at the helm. Let it happen and make it a bright one. Love you guys. See you soon. Ciao.